stared at his fingers as if surprised to find them there. She hit me. Good for her. Taeyong dropped onto the nearest couch completely at ease. What did you do to deserve it? I told her I was going to use her as leverage against her father. A pause, then Taeyong threw his head back and laughed, a deep, booming sound that filled the penthouse. You absolute idiot. You beautiful, stupid, emotionally constipated idiot. You saved her life, brought her to your personal sanctuary, sat by her bed all night, and then told her you were going to use her. He wiped an imaginary tear from his eye. That's almost impressive level of self-sabotage. I don't know what you're talking about. Of course you don't. Taeyong stood, stretching like a cat. So what now? Let her wander the streets barefoot until her father's men find her? Jungkook's jaw tightened. She took a blanket. A blanket. Taeyong's voice was flat. She took a blanket, and that's your concern. No, she... Jungkook ran his hand through his hair, a rare sign of agitation. She's stubborn, reckless. She'll do something stupid, like go back to the club or try to find her friends or... He stopped, the thought clearly torturing him. Her father's men are everywhere. If they find her before she calms down, before she'll listen to the reason, she won't listen to the reason. She's a bark. They don't do reason. The young expression softened slightly. What do you want me to do, Jungkook? For a long moment, Jungkook didn't answer. He walked to the window, staring out at the city, had woken to the new day, oblivious to the war brewing in his streets. Find her. His voice was quiet. Don't let her see you first. Just make sure she's safe and call me the second you know where she's going. Taeyong nodded, already pulling out his phone. And then I need you to arrange a transfer. Transfer of what? Jungkook turned from the window, and for just a moment Taeyong saw something in his oldest friend's eyes that he hadn't seen in years. Something vulnerable, something sacred. She can't stay here. It's not secure enough. Too many entrances, too many people know about this place. If her father figured out she was here once, he'll figure it out again. He paused. I'm moving her to the mansion. Taeyong's phone nearly slipped from his fingers. The forest mansion. Jungkook, no one goes there. You don't even go there. It's isolated, secure. My people patrol those woods like they are guarding a fortress. No one gets in or out without my permission. He met Taeyong's eyes. She'll be safer there until I figure out what to do with her. Until you figure out what to do with her, Jungkook repeated slowly. Right, because that's the only reason you're relocating your enemy's daughter to your most private residence. Logistics. Taeyong, I'm going. Taeyong helped his friend and held up his hand in surrender. But his knowing smile said everything. His words didn't. I'll find your runaway heiress and personally escort her to the forest fortress. Anything else? Jungkook hesitated. Make sure she has everything she needs. Clothes, food, books, whatever. The mansion's been empty for months. It's not a prison. I don't want her to feel like a prisoner. Of course not. You just wanted to keep her locked away where no one can find her, including herself. Very different. Taeyong already at the door. I'll handle it. You go do whatever it is. Whatever it is you do when you're not busy making terrible life decisions. The door clicked shut behind him and Jungkook was alone again. He looked at the dent in his wall, at the rumpled sheet on his bed, at the glass of water still sitting on the nightstand, half-empty bottle where wine had drunk from it. I'm not like your father, he murmured to the empty room. I'm trying to not to be, and that too very hard to not to be like him. But the words felt hollow even to him. An hour later, Jungkook walked into the lobby of Tune Tower, and energy of building shifted instantly. Employees straightened, conversations quieted, everyone suddenly finding urgent business to attend to. This was the Jungkook they knew. Impassively dressed in a charcoal suit, face impassive, eyes seeing everything and revealing nothing. The dent in his wall and the mark on his cheek were hidden beneath carefully applied makeup and a fresh shirt. No one would ever guess he had spent the night watching over a girl who hated him. The elevator ride to the top floor was silent except for the soft hum of machinery. When the doors opened onto his domain, a sprawling office suite with windows on three sides overlooking the entire city, his secretary was already waiting with a tablet and a lightly practiced smile. "Good morning, CEO Jeon. I have your schedule for today." Jungkook walked past her, settling onto the leather chair behind his massive desk. The city spread out below him, tiny cars and tinier people going about their lives, completely unaware of the power concentrated in this room. "Go ahead." His secretary, Miss Huang, efficiently unflappable, had been with him for 5 years, began reciting from her tablet. 8:30 a.m. conference call with Tokyo office regarding the merger terms. "They have accepted our initial offer but want to negotiate the percentage split." Jungkook nodded, pulling up the relevant documents on his screen. Numbers and projections filled him in his vision, but behind them he saw dark eyes flashing with defiance. 9:45 a.m. meeting with the design team about the new Gangnam property. "They have 3 proposals for the lobby renovation." "Fine." 11 a.m. video call with our partner in Singapore. "They have concerned about the shipping delays from Busan. Apparently the weather has affected several routes." The shipping delays, of course, his father had built a shipping empire from nothing, and now Jungkook spent his days managing the remnants, fighting to keep it alive against competitors like Park Industries. The irony wasn't lost on him. 12:30 p.m. lunch with Minister Choi. He wants to discuss the new port development contracts. Informal, his secretary said. "But you know what that means." "I know what that means. Politics, waivers, the endless dance of maintaining power in a city that ate the week of breakfast." 2 p.m. site visit to the Busan warehouse. "Your driver will take you directly from lunch. You should arrive by 3:30. Pairing traffic." Jungkook's attention flickered. Busan, hours away, hours where he wouldn't know. 4:45 p.m. conference with a legal team about shareholder meeting next week. They prepared the talking points. 6:30 p.m. dinner with the Chinese delegation. "They are only tired for 2 days and specifically requested a meeting with you." 8 p.m. stop. Miss Wang looked up, startled. In 5 years, CEO Jeon had never interrupted a scheduled briefing. "So, the rest, push it, cancel what you can, reschedule what you can't." He was already pulling up something in his phone, his fingers moving quickly. "I need to be available today for a personal matter." A personal matter? Miss Wang's perfectly trained expression didn't flicker, but he could see the curiosity burning behind her eyes. Jeon Jungkook didn't have personal matters, he had business. He had more business, and occasionally he had Taeyong, who barely counted as personal because he was also business. "Of course, CEO Jeon, I'll adjust the schedule immediately." She made notes on a tablet and stylus, moving in precise strokes. "Shall I keep the Busan site visit? That's difficult to reschedule." "Keep it, but have the dinner ready to return immediately afterwards. No dinner, no lingerings." "Yes, sir." She continued through the remaining items, but Jungkook's attention had fractured. He nodded in the right place, made sounds of acknowledgement, but the mind was elsewhere. Specifically, in his mind was a forest. A mansion had been his mother's project. She had designed it herself, overseen every detail, filled it with light and art of the kind of warmth that Jungkook had never been able to replicate in his Lake City penthouse. After she died, he had closed it up, couldn't bear to see it without her in it. Now he was sending a stranger there, a girl who hated him, a girl who had looked at him with such fury and pain that he had felt like a physical wound. What would she think of his mother's garden, of the library with its floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the trees, of the kitchen where his mother used to bake cookies that filled the whole house with smell of cinnamon? Would she hate him more for putting her there? And then shareholder report is due by Friday, but I've asked counting to have it to you by Wednesday for review. Miss Wang finished, looking up expectantly. Jungkook realized he hadn't heard a word from the last 5 minutes. "Fine. Good, thank you, Miss Wang." She hesitated, clearly sensing something was off, but she was too professional to ask. "I'll have your coffee brought in, and I'll let you know as soon as I've confirmed the schedule changes." The door closed behind her with a soft click. Jungkook swiveled his chair towards the window, staring out at the city with horror. His family's name in so many ways: Jeon Tar, Jeon Shipping, Jeon Enterprise, all of it built by his father, then nearly destroyed by Park Min-woo's betrayal, then rebuilt by Jungkook's own ruthless determination. He had spent 10 years becoming hard, becoming cold, becoming the kind of man who could destroy enemies without blinking, who could order a rival's business crushed and sleep perfectly well that night. So why couldn't he stop thinking about a girl in a blanket? His phone buzzed. Liam found her. She's at some coffee shop in Hongdae, barefoot in a blanket, ordering the most complicated drink on the menu. Your blanket. She's wrapped in your blanket like a burrito, and barista is clearly in love with her. Jungkook's lip twitched despite himself. Is she okay? Define okay. She's alive, she's conscious, and she's currently giving a very dramatic speech to his friends about the patriarchy and controlling men. Her friends are filming her. This is definitely going viral. She's fine. Young. A little shaken, a little angry, mostly just tired. I've got 2 people watching her from across the street. She won't even know we are there. Jungkook let out a breath and hadn't realized that he had been holding. Good. Keep me updated always. Hey, Jungkook, what? A long pause then. Be careful with this with her. I've seen you do a lot of things for a lot of reason, but I've never seen you like this. It's okay to feel things, even about the daughter of enemy. Jungkook stared at the message for a long moment. Then he typed, I don't feel things, I feel strategies. The young's response was immediate. Liar. Jungkook set his phone down, but his eyes kept drifting back to it, waiting for the next update, the text, or the next confirmation that she was still safe, still there, still wrapped in his blanket like a burrito. Outside, his window soul bustled on, indifferent to the storm in his chest, and somewhere in a coffee shop in Hongdae, Park Hwan was giving her friends a performance that would indeed go mildly viral, completely unaware that she was being watched, or that her immediate future involved a mansion in the middle of the forest, or that the man he had just slapped was currently rearranging his entire life around keeping her safe. She'd find out soon enough. For now, she was just a girl with a broken heart and a borrowed blanket, trying to figure out how to be free in a world that keep trying to put her in cage. And Jungkook was just a man at the top of the tallest building in the city, realizing that some cages aren't meant for bars. Made of bars, they are made of memory and guilt, and the ghost of a girl who couldn't forget the coffee shop in Hongdae had become Ryan's temporary sanctuary. She had been there for 3 hours nursing her 4th caramel macchiato while Mina and Hana listened to her rant with varying degrees of concern and amusement. I slapped him right across his perfect stupid face, and then you walked out barefoot wearing his blanket, Mina added, still filming on her phone. This is literally the plot of a drama, I'm calling it now. You're going to end up married to him. I'd rather marry a sea urchin, Hana snorted. Sea urchins don't have penthouse or jawlines that could cut glass. It's not about the jawline, it's about the principle. He said he was going to use me as leverage, like I'm bragging and bargaining chip or something like that. A weapon, Hana supplied. He called you a weapon, which honestly kind of hot. You're both terrible friends. You're excellent friends, Mina corrected. Finally lowering her phone, we are the ones who found you crying in an alley at 7 a.m. wearing nothing but a designer dress and a very expensive looking blanket. We deserve medals. Wan buried her face in her hands. I just wanted one night of freedom, and instead I almost died. Got rescued by my family's mortal enemy, woken up in his bed, and then slapped him. She groaned. I'm never escaping my father's house again. He's going to weld my windows shut. Speaking of your father, Hana's voice was gone strange. Wan looked outside. Wan lifted her head just in time to see 3 black SUVs pulled up to the curb, their tinted windows reflecting the afternoon sun like mirrors. Men in dark suits emerged, not her father's usual security, but a different kind of professional, harder, more dangerous, and walking toward the coffee shop. Door looking distinctly uncomfortable was Kim Taeyang. Oh no, Ryan breathed. Oh yes, Mina whispered, already filming again. This is the best day of my life. Taeyang entered the coffee shop and the careful grace of a man who knew he was walking into a war zone. He spotted Wine immediately, easy to find given she was the only customer wrapped in a charcoal grey blanket that probably cost more than shop's monthly rent. The Park Wine sees. She began his voice. apologetic before he had even finished her name. I'm going to need you to come with me. Like hell I am. Ryan's hand curled into fist around her blanket. You're one of his people. I saw you at the penthouse. You came after I left. I did. The young had the decency to look sheepish. And now I'm here to take you elsewhere. Safe. Ryan's laugh was bitter. You mean somewhere locked, somewhere controlled, somewhere I can't escape? The young's expression flickered, something almost like sympathy crossing his features. I mean somewhere your father can't find you. There's a difference. My father? Ryan stopped. Wait, what? Your father has men everywhere, Ryan, see? They have been looking for you since midnight. By now, they have probably traced you to elite bulls, and it's only a matter of time before they will find you in this coffee shop. And when they do, he let the sentence hang. Mina and Hannah exchanged worried glances. Ryan, maybe you should. No, Ryan stood her chair, scraping against the floor. I'm not going anywhere with him. I'm not going anywhere with any of them. I'll take my chance with my father. Your father will lock you in a tower, the young said quietly. Jungkook just wants to keep you safe until he can figure out how to fix this mess. Figure out how to fix this mess? Ryan's voice rose. He's the one who created it. He told my father he kidnapped me. The coffee shop went silent. Even the barista stopped mid-pour. The young closed his eyes briefly as if praying for patience. He told your father that to protect you. If your father knew you had snuck out on your own, gone to a club, nearly died, you can imagine what he would have done. The restrictions he would have put in place, that's not his choice to make. No, Jungkook then agreed. Basically, it's not. But he made it anyway, and now we have to deal with the consequences. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Please, Ryan, just once. For once, come with me, voluntarily. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. Ryan looked at the men outside, 3 SUVs full of them all waiting. She looked at her friends. Their faces got between fear and fascination. She looked at the young, who genuinely seemed to want her corporate. Then she looked at the back door of the coffee shop. No, she ran. The kitchen was a blur of stainless steel hearts, startled employees. Ryan burst through the back door into an alley, her bare feet slapping against the wet pavement, the blanket streaming behind her like a cape. Freedom was just ahead, the main street crowds, taxis. Hands got her around the waist. Sorry about this, the young's voice said in her ear. And then she was lifted, carried, deposited firmly but not roughly onto the back of an SUV. The doors slammed, the locks clicked, and Kim Tae slid into the seat beside her, looking genuinely apologetic. I really don't want to do that. Ryan's response was not fit for polite company. The drive took over an hour. Seoul's gleaming tower gave way to suburbs, then countryside, then forest so dense the road became little more and a gravel path. Ryan spent the entire journey alternating between glaring at the young and staring out the windows, watching her chances of escape shrink with every kilometer. Where are you taking me? She finally asked, her voice flat. A place where no one will find you. The young's phone buzzed and he glanced at it. Jungkook's finishing a meeting in Busan. He'll meet us there. Wonderful, a reunion I've been dreaming of. The young actually laughed, a warm sound that seemed out of place in the tense interior of the SUV. You know, you're exactly what I expected. Park have always had fire. It's why your families clashed so much. Too much fire in one room. We were friends once. The words slipped out before Ryan could stop them. Our families used to have picnics together, celebrate holidays together. My father and his father, they were like brothers. The young smile faded. I know. I remember. What happened? For a moment, the young didn't answer. The SUV wound deeper into the forest. Trees pressing close on either side. When he finally spoke, his voice was careful, measured. That's not my story to tell. You should ask Jungkook when you're ready to listen. I'm never going to be ready to listen to anything he has to say. The young just looked at her, something knowing in his dark eyes. We'll see. The mansion emerged from the forest like something from a fairy tale, all stone and grass. The graceful lines nestled against a hillside with a stream running past its eastern wing. It was beautiful in a way that made Ryan's chest to ache. full of warmth and personality despite being empty. This was his mother's, the young said quietly as they pulled through the iron gates. She designed it, built it, filled it with light. He paused. She died 5 years ago. Jungkook hasn't been here since. Ryan's throat tightened. She didn't want to feel sympathy for him, didn't want to imagine Jungkook as anything except the cold, calculating man who had declared her a weapon and locked her in his penthouse. But the mansion looked loved, cared of, like someone had poured their heart into every stone and window. The SUV stopped before the main entrance. The door opened and Vine stepped out onto gravel that bit into her bare feet, making her wince. Careful. Taeyang was immediately at her side, offering his arm. The ground here is rough. Let me help you inside. I don't need your help, but she took his arm anyway, because the alternative was hobbling like a wounded bird. The blanket dragged behind her, collecting pine needles and dirt. Inside the mansion was even more beautiful. Hardwood floors gleamed beneath her high ceilings. Art covered the walls, painting and photographs, and what looked like children's drawings framed with obvious pride. A grand staircase curved upward, its banister polished to a warm glow. This way. The young led him towards the stairs. I'll show you to a room where you can clean up. There should be clothes waiting. I had someone bring basics from the city. Vine stopped at the base of the stairs, her eyes catching on a photograph. A woman, beautiful, kind-faced, with Jungkook's smile, laughing at something outside the frame behind her. A younger Jungkook, maybe 16, his arm around her shoulder, his expression unguarded in a way Ryan had never seen. His mother, Taeyang, confirmed softly. She was extraordinary. Everyone who met her loved her. What happened to her? Sickness, the kind that doesn't care about money or power or how many people love you. He touched her elbow gently. Come on, you need to rest. Ryan let him guide her up the first few steps, her mind still on the photograph on the boy she had.